when you have the British government protecting a flag that is a symbol of Muslim power and taking down the flag of Britain, of Great Britain, of the United Kingdom, the Union Jack, you have to wonder, well, doesn't this mean that there's been a Muslim takeover of Britain? Is that too far-fetched? A lot of people seem to think that is not far-fetched, right? And this flag war, this battle of the flags, is not the only reason. There are plenty of reasons. If you wish, one of the, if you think, diagnostic signals that something is deeply wrong in Great Britain, somewhat subtle, is that Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister, came out to say that he was proud of the British flag. You know, in the context of this controversy, the British Prime Minister felt obliged to clarify that he is in favor of the British flag. This is completely ridiculous. Is he going to defend the right of Britain to exist next? You know, this is what we've come to. But I think the clearest signal that there is something deeply at work here, and that perhaps the British government has been lost, is that there's been a controversy, and this is obviously much more serious than just a bunch of flags, right? There's been a controversy raging for some time now about the Pakistani rape gangs in Great Britain. Now, this is a tremendous scandal. Why? Because these are gangs of Pakistani men who were raping working class girls, working class white girls in Great Britain. Of course, the rapes themselves are a scandal. It's a criminal organization that is preying on innocent girls. But what makes this scandal so much deeper, so much more offensive, is that the criminal activity of these rape gangs was known to the police, it was known to the social workers, it was known to all kinds of politicians. It was not exactly a secret. It was known to all of these different bureaucrats and politicians, and yet they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing for a long, long time. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why would you not prosecute rape gangs, right? Now, The Guardian, if you want an example of mealy-mouthed English nonsense, The Guardian explained this official culpability of British authorities in this massive crime as follows. They said, and I quote, "Authorities have shied away from," that's the words they used, "shied away from the ethnicity of grooming gangs, allowing the continued abuse of hundreds of vulnerable girls, many of whom are now demanding justice." I don't know how one shies away from someone's ethnicity. That way of talking just seems perfectly incoherent to me. But whatever it means, whatever this nonsense phrase means, how can shying away from ethnicity explain that British authorities allowed these rape gangs to operate and to prey on all of these white girls, right? That's just gobbledygook. It's just the English nonsense. And the reason they talk like this is that they're trying to obscure the simple description of the truth. The simple description of the truth is that British authorities did nothing because the criminals were Muslim. That's the truth. Okay? Because British authorities have no problem prosecuting white British citizens for virtually nothing. I mean, so lately there have been all kinds of scandals, at least in podcast space, which is where these things are denounced. There have been all kinds of scandals about Britons getting thrown in jail for expressing their opinions in a tweet or in a Facebook post. Okay? So if it's an opinion, if you in Great Britain, the locus classicus of modern Western freedom, right? That's where modern Western freedom began. In Great Britain. Great Britain was the first country to execute a king. It was one of the first countries to allow religious freedom. It was the first country to subject the king to parliamentary control, right? In that country, they are now throwing people in jail for expressing an opinion online. So long as it's a white Briton expressing an opinion about some minority or some movement, and so long as the British government believes that they can make a case that what the person expressed is hateful